I'm Jennifer Davey. I live in Post Mills, Vermont, which is on the east coast between New Hampshire and Vermont. And I learned to hook in 1999. I went to the Green Mountain Rug Hooking School in Randolph, which was fabulous. I knew I wanted to make a mat. I designed it and everything, but I had no idea how to make it. So I went to school, and Ann Winterling was my teacher. She was fabulous. So she got me going, showing me how to do the backing, and we could buy all the materials there. It was really fabulous. So I started off just doing my own designs, and I grew up a birder and a nature lover, so I tend to put a lot of birds in my work. So I've been doing that for like 21 years now. And I think I got into the Green Mountain Guild really early, like right away, because that mat that I did was in the show at Shelburne. So the Hooked in the Mountains and the Guild have been a part of my hooking life the whole time as well. And when I retired in the middle of the 20s, like 2014 or something, I got on the board of the Guild because I had time. And I was secretary, and then I was president, and now I'm secretary again. And all through that period, I worked on the show. So I really loved doing the Hooked in the Mountains show. So I took a class at at the Hooked in the Mountains show in 2014, I think, about how to felt. And immediately loved felting and thought I could combine the two together. So I started doing these felted pieces and then sewing them to the backing and hooking around them or hooking in them. And I love the combination of the two. I think it's really interesting how they reflect off each other. The pieces in this show, this one is not in this show, but I have one like this in the show with birds and a sort of fantastical landscape in the middle of it that's all felted. And I have another one called Domination that I really tried to push the envelope a little bit and do something different. And that's more my trying to get an idea across. Those black and white buildings are supposed to be human structures that don't look right in the landscape. They look kind of disturbing. And that's sort of how I feel about how humans affect the landscape often, is messing it up rather than making it better. And that piece I have both felting and hooking in it as well. I still like to do all hooked pieces, and I do some all felted things, but it's fun to try to mix those mediums. It's just inspiring to do that. And I do get inspired by what a lot of people I hook with, and because we have local groups that I hook with, don't do anything like what I do, but it doesn't really matter. I just love seeing them push the limits for their own interests. And, some of them do really primitive folk arty stuff, and mine tends to be a little more different. But I still get inspired by the colors they choose, by what their ideas are for doing them. And just sitting around with a group of people doing fiber work, we talk about everything. I mean, we don't just talk about hooking. In fact, we tend not to talk about hooking that much. But it's still all that community, sense of community. I found that at the school when I first did it, that first year in 1999, and it just carries through. So there's a certain community of people that hook that I seem to really enjoy.